or theory of inheritance of acquired characters. And second one is Darwinian theory or natural selection. Third one is DeVry's proposed mutation theory. So this is very important. Lamarck proposed theory of inheritance of acquired characters. Darwinian theory, Darwin proposed natural selection, and DeVry's mutation. Okay, in matching type question, you can expect. And yes, first let us see one by one. First one is Lamarckism. So this theory was proposed, as I told, Lamarck. So what he stated is that the evolution of life forms occurred by the inheritance of acquired characters, which they are getting newly. Okay, so this theory was eliminated out because it is proved that the characters are purely inherited from the genes. Okay, so that is, if few acquired characters are there, new life is not possible, but new life is only possible, that is new species is only possible due to the change in genes. That was proved and this theory was eliminated. Okay, yeah, let us see in detail, that is what is acquired characters and how they are developed. Okay, and again he explained like that is acquired characters are developed by use and disuse of organs. So whether it is, that is, we also studied about vestigial organs. Okay, so many vestigial organs, they disappeared, and the organs which are very much helpful, they got some modifications. So based on that, Lamarck proposed this theory. Okay, but he didn't explain that how it is happening and from where that acquired characters are coming. Nothing he explained. Okay, so later it was proved by scientists like only through the change in genes there may be a change in organs or any systems is possible in living organisms. That was proved. Okay, so here let us see, that is how he explained means evolution by use of organs. See, long neck giraffe. So before that, the neck of the giraffe was not this much lengthier and it was short. When they were using their neck for heating leaves on trees which are higher than their height, so automatically the length of the neck got increased with succeeding generations. Okay, one proof he has given. And again, evolution by disuse. For example, snakes, if you see, snakes, they were having limbs. And again, that is only the mode of locomotion became crawling. Again, that there is no use of limbs. So disuse, because of this disuse, because of there is no use of limbs in snakes, it got disappeared. Okay, but how this happened, he didn't explain. Okay, so these are the two. You should remember Lamarckism, again, evolution by use of organs and disuse of organs. Okay, acquired characters are developed because of this use and disuse of several organs. Okay, so this is Lamarckism, first theory. Second is Darwinism. So Darwin, already we discussed yesterday, that is what is natural selection. And again, you should remember that is when he was traveling in a ship called HMS Beagle. He proposed this, that is after finding so many events, he concluded this natural selection theory. And again, the same theory was proposed in the same period by Alfred Wallace, who worked in Malay Archipelago Island. It is in Asia, actually. Okay, so also that is both have given the similar conclusions at the same time. Okay, and again, Thomas Malthus, and again he also worked and he proposed the same, that is he influenced the Darwin's theory. Let us see what are their works. Okay, so first Darwinism. So Darwinism, it has two key concepts. One is branching descent, another one is natural selection. So what do you mean by this branching descent? It explains that all organisms are modified descendants of previous life forms. So all of a sudden a new organism cannot be developing. Okay, it is not possible to develop all of a sudden a new organism. Okay, it is not correct for microorganisms. This is for higher organisms. So if we are finding a new organism today, that organism got developed from the previous life forms. So that is called as branching descent. So from previous, so here the organism is there. So from this organism, they got descended. Okay, B, C, D might have been developed. So this is called as branching descent. And natural selection, again, this is also explained by one simple experiment by using microorganisms. See, we have taken a petri dish and we have given nutrients like 1, 2, 3. 3 types of nutrients we have added. 3 types of nutrients we have added, and here we are having bacteria, which is called as a colony of bacteria. So these bacteria, they are having the ability to utilize these 3 nutrients. For some days we allowed, and the bacterial growth was happening. And immediately, if we change the medium, so instead of 1, 2, 3, if we are giving different medium like 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this variant, that is those who are not able to, that is this 4, 5, 6 nutrients, this bacteria A, it cannot utilize this 4, 5, 6. So it is getting modified, and the variant population B developed, because it will try its maximum level to survive with the environment what it is having. So because of that, the new organism is getting evolved. And again, this A, which is not able to use this 4, 5, 6, this will extinct. Okay, so this clearly states that whenever there is a change in the environment, the organisms which can fit into that environment, they can survive, they can reproduce, and they can continue their progenies. Got it, dear Nandini?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Yes, see here again, this natural selection theory of Darwin, again, it is explained with the 5 facts. So what are the facts which are supporting this Darwin theory? Means heritable minor variations. See, heritable minor variations are always happening in organisms. Heritable means that will be transferred from one generation to another. So very small minor variations are heritable, and it may be either beneficial or harmful for the organism. One thing. Second, overproduction. So here, if you take, we spoke about A and B. So because of the change in the environment, A got disappeared, and B, as it is having the ability to use this new environment, it will get multiplied. So population will increase. And third, as the population is getting increased, what will happen? The exploitation of all the resources will happen. Because what nutrient we provided, like 4, 5, 6, the amount of nutrient we are not going to change. The environment, what is available for B is same. But if it is using, like the maximum utility of the nutrients is happening, means again, if the resources, if the nutrients are not available, automatically they will die. Okay, because the resources which are available for the organism is permanent. Okay, there is no increase in the resources, natural resources. But if we keep on increasing the population, definitely that will affect the population and struggle for existence. So again, see the same prey. If you take a prey, so this prey is used by 2 different population, A and B. A and B. Okay, so here A and B, which is depending on same prey, in this A and B, which one will survive? Which is strongest among these two? So if you consider this A is strongest, okay, and it can compete with B, and this will lead to further progeny, and B will extinct. Okay, yeah. Fifth is survival of the fittest. As I explained, A, it can adjust and survive, and again it is having strength to fight against other co-living organisms. Okay, these all the points you have to consider for survival of fittest. So survival of fittest means struggle for existence. Whatever to the maximum level, the species will struggle for living. So the organisms with beneficial variations can utilize resources better, and they can survive, reproduce, and continuity of life will be there. So this concept is called as survival of fittest. So automatically this leads to the change in population, whichever the organisms, whichever the species are fit for survival, they can continue. And again, if new environment is created, that is if they are fit and if they are adapting to that environment, they can survive. And again, for that adaptation, some new changes are happening in their genetic level. Okay, yeah. So this is called the survival of fittest. Yeah, Darwin ignored about origin of variation, but he didn't explain about where the variation is happening. He didn't explain about genes. Okay, and again, mechanism of evolution or speciation, how a new species, what do you mean by speciation? How the new species developing? What is the reason for the development of new species? He didn't explain. What is the mechanism of evolution? He didn't explain. And how the variation is happening? He didn't explain. Yeah. So next comes the Hugo de Vries. So he only proposed the mutation theory of evolution. So what do you mean by mutation? That is sudden change. Sudden change in genetic organization is called as mutation. So he explained clearly mutation is responsible for this evolution. So again, he also proved with so many experiments. One of the experiments given in NCERT is primrose, Oinothera lamarckiana. Okay, so he proved with this plant like the mutation, that is the evolution takes place through mutation. Mutation is responsible for evolution, but not the minor variations. And even minor variations are happening. How it is happening? Only by the change in gene. Yeah. So again, Darwinian variation. If you compare the Darwin's theory and Hugo de Vries' theory, Darwinian variation is minor and it is very slow and it is directional. Please, this slide is very important. Okay, you should know the difference between the Darwinism and mutation theory. So always what Darwin explained was the variations were minor and small variations, they lead to speciation. That was the explanation given by Darwin. And again, it is very slow and it is directional. Okay, so a sudden change is not possible by the theory which was explained by Darwin. But Hugo de Vries, mutational variations, it is sudden and random and directionless. Okay, so here the species formation is by saltation, that is single step. In single step, if large mutation is happening, a new species evolution is possible. But here, Darwin theory, it is not possible to have immediately the new species is not possible by Darwinian theory. So Darwinism is minor, slow and directional. Mutational variations happening very suddenly, randomly, and there is no direction. It is not following any directions. Mutation can happen at any time. So due to pesticides, nowadays, due to pesticides and so many reasons are there, UV rays cause mutation, physical, chemical and biological agents are there, mutagens are there. Okay, so it is sudden and it is where the mutation is happening, it is not known, and that is called as directionless. So this is important, and mutation is the origin of variation for evolution, not the minor variations. Because of minor variations, how that minor variations happening, it was not explained by Darwin. Yeah. Yes, see here. Next is, that's all about Darwinism, Lamarckism, and one more is mutational theory. Yeah, one more important topic comes under this chapter is this Hardy-Weinberg principle. So Hardy-Weinberg principle, again, it says that allele frequency in a population are stable. What do you mean by allele frequency? So allele frequency, heterozygous, homozygous, allele, what are allele? A pair of gene is called as, because we are diploid, we are having diploid chromosomes. So allele, a pair of genes, and the allele frequency in an organism is stable and is constant. See, for example, if you take, how you will call this, two capital A's, this is homozygous dominant. Yes or no? Nandini?
Yes, ma'am.
So homozygous dominant, Hardy-Weinberg represented this homozygous dominant as P and Q. If you take Q, that is homozygous recessive. And he represented PQ as heterozygous dominant. And he proposed the theory, like always the allele frequency in a population is stable. That is, in the gene pool, total number of genes and their alleles in a population remains constant. This is called genetic equilibrium or Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. The sum of total of all frequencies will be 1. That is, P plus Q the whole square is equal to 1, or else P square plus Q square plus 2PQ is equal to 1. So what is P here? That is homozygous dominant. Q is homozygous recessive. So what he concluded is it remains constant, and the sum of all allelic frequencies will be 1. Okay. Yeah. See here, what are the factors affecting Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium? So there are 5 factors. Totally 5 factors influences the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So what are they? One is gene migration and gene flow. See, for example, so if you take this population of any beetle which are having darker color, okay, so even in natural selection, we spoke about moths which are changing their color due to their environment. If you take this population, they all are having homozygous dominant genes for their color. Okay, so what do you mean by gene migration? Means slowly, because of some mutations, few organisms, they are having first heterozygous dominant, and then it is getting converted into Q, that is homozygous recessive. So because of this change in the gene, this is called as gene migration. So because of this, what is happening? The quality, that is the phenotype, is also getting changed. The color of the bee, which is darker, becomes lighter. So this is called as gene migration. So automatically, again, this will affect the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. And second is genetic drift. So what I explained now, gene flow by chance causing the change in the frequency. And again, what is gene flow? Now I explained. So the flow of gene is slowly changing and completely it is getting changed. So sometimes change in frequency is so different in the new sample of population that they become different species. So because of that, the change in the frequency is so different means, entirely different means, automatically what will happen? A new species, that is different species, speciation is possible. Speciation is happening. So if you take the original drifted population, that becomes the founder, that is new speciation. So because of this genetic drift, what is happening? The speciation is happening and they are becoming the founders of new species. And this is called as founder effect. So because of the change in frequency, gene frequency, speciation is possible when it is very different. And because of that, speciation is possible. This is called as founder's effect. Third reason is mutation. So again, automatically mutation is happening means that leads to new phenotypes. And again, the mutation is continued over few generations. This leads to speciation. Okay, see for example, if the color of any species is changing means automatically if brown color skin is present in any organism, slowly because of this mutation, okay, light shade is produced, that is white is produced means, and this white will be continued for few generations, and this white will be there and maybe this brown may disappear. So because of this mutation, this speciation, new species developed. And again, fourth one is genetic recombination. Again, you know what is recombination? That is shuffling of genes. See here, two different homologous chromosomes are there and they are sharing their genes here. So due to this, where this recombination is happening, we don't know. So because of this, again, genetic variation is happening. This is also one of the reasons which will affect the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. And again, fourth one is natural selection. So in that natural selection, there are three types. One is stabilizing selection, directional selection, and disruptive selection. So if you take this stabilizing selection, so here many of the individuals in a population occur mean character value and variation is reduced. So very few are having the variation means that will get reduced if the population size is more. And directional selection, here the individuals of one extreme are more favored. This is called as directional, that is the changes happening in one direction, in one extreme level. And disruptive selection, here the individuals of both extremes will be there. So again, here how the curve will be, if you see. So this is again stabilizing selection, and this is a directional selection, and this is called disruptive selection. Yeah, so let us see few problems in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So first question is, understood dear all these?
Yes, ma'am.
So what was the theory proposed by Lamarck? Tell me. Lamarck, Darwin, and Hugo de Vries. What they proposed? So Lamarck, what he told like the evolution is possible only by acquired characters, but he didn't explain how they are acquiring characters. And he explained like based on the use and disuse of organs, they are newly developing, and if there is no use, they are disappearing. But he didn't explain how that changes are happening. And again, a Darwinian theory, this is slow and again
Directional.
yeah, directional. And one more,
Minor.
yeah, minor, directional, and it will be happening very slowly. But sometimes if you take speciation is happening all of a sudden. So how is that possible? That was explained by Hugo de Vries mutation theory. Okay, and you have to remember that is examples: Lamarckism, giraffe, neck of giraffe, and limbs of snakes disappeared. And Darwinism, again, HMS Beagle ship name you should remember, and Alfred Wallace Mali Archipelago Island. And again, what is branching descent and what is natural selection, and how he explained with the microbial population, and what is facts, which are the facts that prove the Darwinism. And again, heritable minor variations, overproduction, limited natural resources, struggle for existence, survival of the fittest. Okay, and what are the mechanism of evolution? So only evolution is possible due to mutation. What is mutation? It's a sudden change in the gene is called as mutation, and he explained with Primrose. And again, this is very important. Yeah, Hardy-Weinberg principle: P plus Q the whole square is equal to 1. P square plus Q square plus 2PQ is equal to 1. What is P? What is Q? What is PQ is very much important. And what are the factors that affect? This is also very that is important concept. Like what are the 5 factors affecting the Hardy-Weinberg? That is gene flow, genetic drift. So what is gene flow or gene migration? You can say that is from one generation, that is new organisms are getting developed based on the mutations happening, and again based on the environmental changes. So here how it is happening means slowly it is getting changed. And the third, genetic drift, is when it is happening and it is very different means when the gene flow is very different, and again the change in the frequency is also very different means that leads to the speciation, and because of the formation of new species it is called as founder's effect. And the third one is mutation, genetic recombination, and natural selection. So what do you mean by mutation? A sudden change. And fourth one is natural selection and recombination. So these are the 5 factors which will influence, which will change the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So apart from this, if the normal conditions are there, this Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium will be maintained. P plus Q is equal to 1. Okay, yeah. See, again, there are 3 different selections: stabilizing, directional, and disruptive. These curves you should remember. This is for stabilizing, and this is directional. And again, if we have 2 peaks, again, this is disruptive selection. Yeah, let us see few problems. So again, Hardy-Weinberg principle, you can expect problems. Okay, see here again, if you Google it like Hardy-Weinberg principle problems for NEET, you will get so many problems. Please work out. So see here, in a certain African population, 4% of the population is born with sickle cell anemia. So sickle cell anemia is the recessive. Okay, and again calculate the percentage of individuals who enjoy the selective advantage of sickle cell gene, that is increased resistance to malaria. So this you studied in genetics. Those who are having in African population, the sickle cell anemia, if they have, they won't get affected with the malaria. So calculate the percentage of individuals who enjoy the selective advantage of the sickle cell gene. Yeah, so the individuals that are heterozygous enjoy the selective advantage of increased resistance to malaria and are carriers of sickle cell trait. So here, if they are resistant, they should have this heterozygous. And again, if you take these, these population are called as carriers. Yeah, what is the genotype? Heterozygous dominant. And what is the term given by Hardy-Weinberg for heterozygous dominant? PQ. Okay, so here we are told that is what is given, 4% of the population is affected with sickle cell anemia. So thus Q square is given like 4%. So Q square is equal to, in decimals if you take, 0.04. So therefore Q is equal to root 0.04 is equal to 0.20. So already what is Hardy-Weinberg principle states that P plus Q is equal to 1. So thus we identified Q. From that we can easily identify P. So what is P? 1 minus 0.20. So P is equal to 0.80 and Q 0.20. So with this, we have to identify PQ. That is very easy. Yeah. So again, this is like PQ is equal to 0.8 into 0.2. That is equal to 0.32. And you have to convert it into percentage. That is 32%. Got it, dear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Shall we move on to next problem?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And second problem. See, the frequency of two alleles in a gene pool is A, dominant is 0.19 and recessive is 0.81. So assume that the population is in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So automatically this is P and this is Q. Calculate the percentage of heterozygous individuals. So this is very easy actually. Okay, so first one, calculate the percentage of heterozygous AA, that is PQ. So easily they have given P and Q, you have to identify PQ in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So what it states, like P squared plus Q squared plus 2PQ is equal to 1. So with this, if you apply this, you can find out. Okay, or else directly, that is, if you see 2PQ will give the percentage of this heterozygous individuals. And in this, with the same data, calculate the percentage of homozygous recessives. Homozygous recessive, what is homozygous recessive again? Q square. So what is Q? 0.81. So easily you can calculate. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Third problem is in a population that is in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, which is following Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Now, the frequency of recessive homozygote genotype of certain trait is 0.09. So recessive. Calculate the percentage of individuals of homozygous for dominant allele. So we know that the frequency of recessive homozygote in genotype is Q squared, and that is equal to, yeah, Q square is equal to 0.09. And then Q is equal to 0.03. Q, how will you be calculating? This is 0.03. Sorry, 0.3. Okay, and we also know that P plus Q is equal to 1. Okay. Yeah, this should be 0.9. Am I right? So thus, yeah, see, this is like 0.9. So 0.9 root, if you take 0.3 and P plus Q is equal to 1, so P is equal to 1 minus Q, 1 minus 0.3 is equal to 0.70. Okay, so you identified P. Again, P square you have to check. That is 0.70, the whole square is equal to 0.49, that is equal to 49%. So like this, so many problems are available in Google. Okay, so if you want, I'm having almost 15 problems, so I will send you practice that. Okay.